What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of MLB action here on Tuesday, May 21st. Finally, we gave some back here on Monday, guys. Things didn't go the way we thought they would. We ended up going only 2-4 overall. We did cash the Padres plus 110 in the first game of their doubleheader. Needed to come back for that one to work out, though. Tampa Bay couldn't come through for us. The Yankees, man, what a collapse there at the end of the game to lose that one. That one really stung. So taking the loss there. Detroit plus 100. The pitching just didn't work out the way we thought it would in that game. And the Astros minus 1.5. Seems like they had some sort of implosion there in the fifth inning and things didn't work out in that one. But the Dodgers minus 1.5 did come through for us, so we were able to end the day on a win. So 2-4 overall, that's not great, but if that's what our losing days look like, that will be okay. Let's get back on track with a huge slate here on Tuesday. First, do me a big favor and hit that like button. It's a great way to show some support for the channel and all the work we put in every single day. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free and can keep you from missing out on these picks. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. Comment below with all the bets you're looking at today and we'll give you our best advice on all of them. We respond to absolutely every single comment, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our final picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the New York Mets taking on the Cleveland Guardians. The Mets took the loss in Game 1 of this series 3-1. They're handing the ball in this game to Adrian Houser, who's off to an 0-3 start to his season with a 7.44 ERA, so not exactly having a great time out there. His last time out against the Phillies, he only lasted 2 innings in that game. It wasn't a start, though. It was a relief appearance, but he gave up 3 runs. One of them was earned over those 2 innings of work. Not a great outing. The last time we saw him start was against the Cubs, where he gave up 4 earned runs over 5 innings. That was back on the 2nd of this month, back on the 27th of last month. He got shelled by the Cardinals, and before that he got shelled by the Dodgers. So there's a reason this guy hasn't been in the starting rotation, and it's because he has not been great. Neither has the Mets offense, obviously. I mean, coming off a game where they scored only a single run. This team is not hitting the ball great. We saw them arguing with the umpires. A lot of frustration seems like it's setting in for this team. They're about league average in terms of offensive production, and they're going to need to score some runs here going up against Cleveland, who comes into this game winners of 4 straight. They're up to 31-17 on the season, and they're handing the ball in this game to Carlos Carrasco, who's 2-4 with a 5.16 ERA, but those numbers have been trending in a pretty positive direction, guys. His last time out, he went 5 innings, gave up only 2 earned runs against the Texas Rangers. The start before that, he did give up 3 earned runs to the Chicago White Sox, so not amazing, but he was able to go 7 innings in that game. Definitely a positive for him. He had a good start against the Angels before that, so it seems like this veteran is settling in here. He's pitching a little bit better down the stretch, and I'm honestly starting to expect pretty solid things from him, and we can definitely expect the Guardians offense to put up some runs, guys. They've scored 3, 5, 11, and 3 runs over their last 4 games. They're hitting the ball pretty well. They're up to 5th in runs scored, 14th in on-base percentage, 17th in batting average. This is a team I think we can pretty solidly expect to put up some runs, especially going against a pretty weak starting pitcher. So, guys, looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Guardians are minus 113 and that Cleveland is 16-6 at home this season. That's an MLB best home mark. The Mets are only 11-12 on the road. Not a great team in general. We've got an over-under of 9.5, but we're not interested in that, guys. We're very interested in the Cleveland Guardians minus 113. I think we'll see them do some positive things in this game, score some runs, and we'll get just good enough starting pitching from Carrasco to see them come away with a win here. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. The Brewers actually took the 3-2 loss in Game 1 of this series, guys. Kind of embarrassing for a team like the Brewers to be losing games to the Marlins, and they've actually now dropped 3 out of the last 4, which isn't great. They're handing the ball in this one to Robert Gasser, who's off to a 2-0 start with a 0.82 ERA. He dominated the Pirates and dominated the Cardinals. He's only making his 3rd start of the year, but his first 2, wow, guys. He gave up a total of 1 earned run over 11 innings of work. That'll get the job done. He's looking very good out there. The Brewers offense, though, didn't look great in Game 1 of this series, only scoring 2 runs. I mean, this is supposed to be one of the best offensive teams in the majors, and they haven't really looked like it recently, so kind of concerning. I mean, they are still 3rd in runs scored and 4th in on-base percentage, so we're not exactly going to alert the press before this game, but they're taking on a Marlins team who's somehow won 5 of their last 6 overall, which is crazy. They're 16-33 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Trevor Rogers, who's 1-6 on the year with a 5.79 ERA. He's coming off a very good start against the Tigers, where he went 5 innings, he had 3 hits and no runs while striking out 6, but his start before that he got shelled by the Phillies, start before that he got shelled by the A's, so this isn't exactly someone who we're looking at as a plus arm, and the Marlins offense is also not killing it right now, despite this little winning streak. They have had some games where they put up good numbers, but I mean, scoring 3 runs against the Brewers isn't exactly something to throw them a parade about. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see Milwaukee at -136, the Marlins at +120. We've got an over-under of 8 in this game. Once again, with both teams showing big trends to the over, I don't hate the over in this game at all, but I like the Brewers -136 a lot. I think we're going to see Gasser have another fantastic start, and yeah, Milwaukee's offense is going to find a way to put up some runs here. I don't love Trevor Rogers out there on the mound, so definitely give me the Brewers -136. They're 15-11 on the road, which isn't terrible. Miami is 9-18 at home, which is terrible, so yeah, give me Milwaukee in this one all the way. Next up, guys, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds. The Padres come into this game fresh off of splitting that doubleheader against the Atlanta Braves, so not too bad. They end up winning 3 out of 4 in that series overall, so they'll definitely take that. They're up to 25-25 on the season. They're still trying to build something above that 500 mark. Handing the ball in this one to Joe Musgrove, who's 3-3 on the year with a 6.37 ERA. He's coming off the IL for this game after having some elbow issues. His last start was back on the 1st, so he missed 20 days there. He looked pretty good against the Cincinnati Reds his last time out, but he's had his struggles this season for sure. I mean, he didn't have a great time against the Phillies. He did look decent against Toronto. He has a start against the Milwaukee Brewers where he went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, so not terrible, but not amazing. It does look pretty nice, though, that he was so good against the Reds his last time out, and the Padres bats have definitely come alive here. I mean, in their series against Atlanta, they scored 0, 6, 9, and 3 runs. Like, not terrible. Obviously, getting shut out in the last game isn't great, but overall, this team is definitely swinging some better bats, and they're hoping they can keep things going here, hitting in the Great American Ballpark, which has to feel nice. The Reds can't be too happy about how things are looking right now. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Dodgers. They're down to 19-28 on the season. This is a team that kind of had some aspirations coming into this year, and yeah, not working out for them. Handing the ball in this game to Andrew Abbott, who's off to a 2-4 start with a 3.06 ERA. Against the Diamondbacks his last time out, he was very, very good, and really his last 3 starts have been very respectable, handling the Orioles, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks well, but we see the Reds only managed to win 1 of those games. In those 3 starts, the scores were 2-1 with the Reds losing, 4-2 with the Reds winning, and then 2-1 with the Reds losing. So not great. Their offense continues to be terrible. In their series against the Dodgers, they scored 2, 0, 3, and 7 runs. So 7 runs in game 1 of that series looks great, but other than that, offense still looking terrible. 28th in on-base percentage, 19th in runs scored, 29th in batting average. Like, this is looking like a clearly bottom third of the MLB type of offense. And looking at the numbers for this game, we actually see it's a little bit closer than you would expect. We've got the Padres at -118, the Reds at +102. We've got over-unders of 9 or 9.5 in this game. Guys, I am a little bit hesitant to take the Padres in this one since they just played a doubleheader and then had to go to Cincinnati, but I think we're going to go ahead and take them anyway. The travel could be a little bit tough and some guys could be a little bit tired, but I don't have a crazy amount of faith in Abbott, and I do trust Joe Musgrove a little bit, specifically against the Reds here, a team he's found success against this season, and he's well rested coming off of the IL, so give me the Padres as a small lean in this one, but I don't think I have the guts to put it in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the San Francisco Giants going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Giants are looking pretty good, guys. I mean, maybe not pretty good. They have won 4 in a row. We'll give them credit for that. They're 23-25 on the year, though, and sweeping a series against the Rockies isn't the craziest thing. They're handing the ball in this game to Logan Webb, who's 4-4 on the season with a 3.03 ERA and absolutely dominated the LA Dodgers his last time out, guys. Putting up 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs against the LA Dodgers. That is crazy stuff. It's a game his team won 4-1 also, so that's pretty impressive. And the Giants offense is coming alive a little bit here. They scored 4, 14, 10, and 4 runs over their last 4 games, so very respectable there. Piling up some big numbers against a bad team isn't like a huge deal, but it's definitely something. They're swinging some better bats right now. They're up to 8th in the majors in batting average, 18th in runs scored, 11th here in on-base percentage, so this is a team that's kind of swinging some hot bats coming into the series against the Pirates, who are actually playing pretty well themselves. I mean, they won 3 out of 4 against the Chicago Cubs. They are only 22-26 on the season, though, so that's a bit of a concern. They're handing the ball in this game to Martin Perez, who's 1-3 with a 4.86 ERA, and he got absolutely destroyed by the Milwaukee Brewers his last time out, and honestly, his last 3 starts have not really filled me with too much optimism, guys. I mean, he gave up 8 hits to the Colorado Rockies, 8 hits to the Angels, and 11 hits and 9 earned runs to the Brewers. Like, this guy not exactly throwing it great out there right now, and while the Pirates offense has come alive maybe a little bit here, I mean, 3-0, 9, and 5 runs in a series at Chicago isn't exactly going to fill me with tons of optimism, so not super high on an offense that's 24th in the majors in runs scored and 26th in on-base percentage. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Giants at minus 134, the Pirates at plus 116, and we've got an over-under in this game of 7.5. We do see that the Giants are 8-15 on the road, which is not great, but the Pirates are only 9-12 at home. Regardless, guys, we're going to go ahead and side with the Giants in this one. I think they're playing pretty well right now, and I'm not super high on the Pirates, but I don't think this is a spot that is going to end up in the pinned comment for me. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Rangers come into this game fresh off of a loss to the Angels. They actually managed to lose 2 out of 3 in that series. They're down to 24-24 on the season. Handing the ball to John Gray in this game. He's 2-1 with a 2.08 ERA, coming off a very good start against the Cleveland Guardians, where he gave up only 4 hits over 6 1/3 innings. No runs allowed in that game. And yeah, his start before that was pretty solid against the Colorado Rockies. Start before that was very good against the Royals. And as you can see, looking at his numbers, this guy has been very, very reasonable this season. Very, very good. Borderline elite, I would say. And the Rangers' offense really hasn't been helping them out too much recently. I mean, they scored 1, 3, 3, 4, like not elite offensive numbers they're putting up right now, guys. I know this team has been great at different points at the plate this season. I mean, they're still 10th in runs scored and 9th in on-base percentage, but they're not looking like that right now. Just not looking at home up there at the plate, not finding a way to produce numbers. And while they've been taking on some like kind of reasonable opponents, not scoring a bunch of runs against the Angels is a pretty big indictment of where your offense is at right now. So not super high on this offense. They're going to need to find a way to produce some runs here, going up against the Phillies, who have now won 3 in a row and 6 of their last 7 overall, and they've just been killing it all season long, guys. This team is 34-14 on the year. They just swept the Washington Nationals, and they're handing the ball in this game to Ranger Suarez, who is off to an 8-0 start with a 1.37 ERA. He dominated the Mets his last time out. Maybe not quite dominated. Actually, one of his worst starts this year. He went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs. Neither one were earned on 4 hits. We definitely expect a bounce back from him. He's been fantastic all season long, and now he's going up against a Rangers team that's like swinging some pretty dead bats at the moment. So yeah, definitely like Suarez's chances here in this game. And the Phillies offense has obviously been one of the best in the majors. They've actually taken over the top spot in the majors in terms of runs scored, took that away from the Dodgers. They're first in runs scored, third in batting average, third in on-base percentage, and 6th in slugging percentage. Bryce Harper killing it. Everybody killing it right now. This team is just crazy good at the plate. And yeah, their starters have been very, very good too. So looking at the numbers for this game, it's not a big surprise to see the Phillies at minus 162. The Rangers at plus 145. We do see Texas is 12-11 on the road, so not insane, but not terrible. We see the Phillies are 19-8 at home, though, which is very, very respectable. Guys, we're definitely leaning towards the Phillies minus 162 in this game. I don't think we have the guts to take them against the run line, but the Phillies 162 definitely seems like a very reasonable play to me, with Suarez out there on the mound and them playing at home. Next on the docket, guys, we got the Minnesota Twins going on the road to take on the Washington Nationals. The Twins come into this game desperately in need of a win, guys. They've lost their last 7 in a row. They lost game 1 of this series 12-3. Oh my God. We just see this team. They just held a players only meeting, hoping they can do something to get things back on track here, but it's looking pretty dark. They're down to 24-23 on the season, handing the ball to Joe Ryan, who's 2-3 on the year with a 3.57 ERA. He got kind of knocked around by the Yankees his last time out. I mean, it is the Yankees, so we'll cut him a little bit of slack for that. They're one of the best offenses in the majors, obviously. Start before that was very good against the Toronto Blue Jays, so the dude has looked decent lately, but yeah, not great against the Yankees there. He's not exactly taking on a Yankees caliber opponent in this game, but he doesn't have a Yankees caliber offense behind him either, guys. They scored 3, 2, 4, and 3 runs over the course of the last 4 games. Like, that is not going to work. Not going to be getting a ton of wins with those kind of numbers, and this offense continues to flounder, guys. They're down to 14th in the majors in runs scored, 13th in slugging percentage, but 21st and 25th respectively in batting average and on-base percentage. When as a team you're only batting 231, that's not going to get the job done very often. So kind of concerned about them right now, taking on the Nationals, who bounced back from getting swept by the Phillies by scoring 12 runs in game 1 of this series. They're 21-25 on the season, so not amazing, obviously, but they're handing the ball in this one to Patrick Corbin, who's 1-4 with a 5.59 ERA. He's looked pretty good over his last couple, maybe even his last 3 starts. I mean, 3 earned runs over 6 innings against the Blue Jays, not terrible. Only 1 earned run over 5 innings against the Red Sox, not bad at all, and 2 earned runs over 5 2/3 against the White Sox, also not terrible. So he's throwing the ball relatively well right now, and we can obviously look at the Nationals' offense is hitting the ball well. I mean, they scored 5 and 12 runs over their last 2 games, so definitely swinging the bats a little bit better here, but there's a reason this team is in 27th place in the majors in runs scored and 27th place in team batting average, hitting only .224 as a squad right now. I mean, sure, they're swinging the bats a little bit better right now, but how good is this offense really? I'm not exactly going to freak out about them, but also, I don't have a lot of faith in either team in this game, really. I mean, we see the Twins at minus 185. Is that really a number we're interested in? Like, I certainly am not. Nationals plus 164. You can maybe get me on board with that. We've got an over-under in this game of 8.5, with both teams showing very small trends towards the under. Obviously, the last couple games have been big over games for the Nationals, and yeah, what do we really expect out of the Minnesota Twins in this game? It's hard to tell. Guys, this game might honestly be a pass from me. If you're forcing me to bet it, give me the Nationals plus 164, but I'm not going to be betting this game myself. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Boston Red Sox going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Red Sox come into this game fresh off of a second straight win. They won game 1 of this series 5-0, so pretty impressive there. They're only 24-24 on the season, though, and handing the ball in this game to Cooper Criswell, who's 2-1 with a 2.76 ERA, and he just had one of his worst starts of the season against the Tampa Bay Rays, so that probably doesn't feel great. He only lasted 3 2/3 innings in that start. He gave up 5 runs, 3 of them were earned on 4 hits. He gave up a home run. He only struck out 3 in that game, which isn't great for him. He's a guy that can definitely pile up some strikeouts. And yeah, the Red Sox offense has been looking a bit better lately. I mean, they've scored 16 runs combined over the last 2 games, so that has to feel great. But this isn't exactly an offense you can super duper bank on putting up a ton of runs, although Devers has been looking really, really good. They're 13th in runs scored, 10th in on-base percentage, 7th in slugging percentage. Like, those kind of numbers would seem like this should be some sort of elite offense. And guys, it just hasn't really felt like that to me. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of tough. Very inconsistent here, and they're going to need to find some consistency, you would think, going up against Tampa Bay Rays, who've played much better here over their last 20 or so games, but they're only 25-24 overall, and they've now lost 2 in a row. They're handing the ball in this game to Zach Littell, who's 2-2 with a 3.44 ERA, and didn't have a great time against the Red Sox his last time out, guys. That was back on the 16th. He went 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 7 hits, so not exactly a fantastic outing. And while he's had some solid outings this season, yeah, having a bad history here against the Red Sox doesn't make me feel great. And the Rays come into this game not swinging the hottest bats. They've only scored 2 total runs over their last 18 innings of work, so that's not great. In their series against Boston only a few days ago, they did manage to win 3 out of 4, and the offense looked pretty good in that one, and they just hit well off of Criswell, so that's definitely something to take into consideration. This offense has been about league average, or looks about league average right now, but I think they can head the right direction. We'll have to see what actually happens in this game. Looking at the numbers overall, we see that we've got the Red Sox at plus 115, the Rays at minus 132, and we've got an over-under of only 8 in this game. We see Tampa Bay as a slight over team. Boston is a big under team, but guys, I don't have a ton of faith in this pick, but I think the over is very live in this game. We're going to be taking over 8 in this one as I think the best value on this game. We saw Criswell get touched up by the Rays the last time he faced them. We saw Littell get touched up the last time they faced each other. So go ahead and give me the over in this game. I think we'll see a good amount of offense in this one. Will I be betting this myself? Maybe a little bit, but I think it's a long shot to make it into the pinned comment. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Seattle Mariners going on the road to take on the New York Yankees in Game 2 of that series. That was a pretty bad beat for us in Game 1, guys. We saw France hit a go-ahead RBI single off of Holmes in a 4-run 9th inning for the Mariners to stun the Yankees 5-4. Pretty disappointing stuff there, guys. Thought we had that one in the bag, and it just did not work out. The Mariners are now 26-22 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Brian Wu, who's 1-0 with a 0.93 ERA. He's looked absolutely dominant through 2 starts this season. He's given up only a single earned run over his 9 2/3 innings of work. He's looked very, very good. He struck out 8 total and only walked 2. Those starts were against the Royals and the Oakland A's, so not exactly dominant offensive teams, but still very, very respectable out there from Wu, and we can kind of expect big things from him in this one, but it'll be interesting going up against a tough opponent. We see the Mariners managed to score 5 runs in Game 1, but this continues to not be a great offensive team in general. I mean, they had to string together a lot of things happening for them there in the end of the game to come away with that win. They're 25th in the majors in batting average, 24th in on-base percentage, just not an elite offensive team, and they're going to have to score some runs here against a Yankees squad who's been putting up great offensive numbers. They're 33-16 on the season and hitting the ball in this game to Clark Schmidt, who's man, he's off to a great start, guys. 5-1 with a 2.49 ERA. His last time out, he went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits and no runs while striking out 8 against the Minnesota Twins. Start before that, he also gave up 0 earned runs over 6 2/3 innings against the Rays. Yeah, the guy has just looked amazing this season, and there's no reason to not expect that to keep on rolling here going up against the Mariners. And the Yankees offense, it's been rolling all season long pretty much. I mean, they're up to 4th in the majors in runs scored, 6th in the majors in team batting average. So this team just killing it right now. I mean, they're 2nd in on-base percentage, 3rd in slugging percentage. Like, everybody on the team hitting the ball well. In this one, it took a crazy comeback from Seattle to get the win in game 1. And we see the odds makers are giving the Yankees and Schmidt plenty of respect in this game. We see the Yankees at -155. The Mariners at +140. We've got over-unders in this game of 7.5 or 8. We do see Seattle and the Yankees are both significant under teams, with Seattle 27-18-3 to the under. We also see the Mariners are only 11-12 on the road, and the Yankees are 16-7 at home. So while under 8 definitely seems to have some merit if you're asking me, I'm slightly siding towards the Yankees -155 in this game. I think they managed to get a win at home, even if it happens to be a low-scoring game where their offense doesn't put up a ton of runs. I also think there's a decent chance that Wu could struggle in this matchup, given that he's only faced like pretty weak hitting opponents so far this season, but I don't have a crazy amount of faith in this game. We'll see if it ends up in the pinned comment. I tend to think it might be a slight long shot to end up in there, but we'll just have to see. Go ahead and give me the Yankees -155 in this one. Next on the docket, guys, we got the Chicago White Sox going on the road here to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. They lost game 1 of this series 9-3. Things aren't looking great for the White Sox. They now lost 4 in a row. They're 14-34 in the season, handing the ball in this game to Garrett Crochet, who's now 4-4 with a 4.18 ERA. He's looked dominant in his last 2 starts, though, guys. Over his last 11 innings of work, he's given up 0 earned runs. Over his last 17 innings of work, he's given up only a single earned run. He struck out 11 in that game against Cleveland. He struck out 6 in his last game against the Washington Nationals. We've also seen the White Sox win in each of his last 3 starts, so pretty impressive stuff from him lately. And yeah, the White Sox offense, though, continues to be pretty freaking terrible, guys. They scored 3, 2, 1, and 2 runs over their last 4 games. Not great. Clearly the worst offense in baseball. Not going to waste a lot of time talking about how bad this team is at the plate. They're just not good. They need to figure something out here against the Blue Jays, who are 21-25 in the season. Not ideal. They have won their last 2 in a row. They're handing the ball in this game to Yusei Kikuchi, who's been very good this season. He's 2-3 with a 2.60 ERA, but the team has not been finding success with him on the mound lately, despite him looking very good. They're actually 0-4 over his last 4 starts. He even had a good start there against the Dodgers, and they couldn't figure out a way to get the job done. He went 4 1/3 innings against Baltimore his last time out, but only gave up a single earned run and struck out 9 in that one. So the poor guy is doing all he can to keep his team in games, and they're just not producing any offense for him. And looking at the Blue Jays offense, they have scored 9 and 5 runs over their last 2 games respectively, but they haven't been a great offense this season in general. We do see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. finally coming to life here, but this team is 29th in runs scored for a reason, 24th in team batting average. Like, this is just not a good offensive team. And looking at the numbers for this one, we see that the Blue Jays are getting a ton of respect at -175 in this one, which is a little bit surprising with Crochet out there on the mound for the White Sox. We got an over-under of 7.5 in this game, with both teams showing semi-significant trends towards the under. And guys, I think we do like the Blue Jays -175 a little bit, but I think I actually prefer the under 7.5 in this game. Don't think we're going to see a lot of offense. We have a lot of respect here for Garrett Crochet, which the odds makers don't really have, and Yusei Kikuchi's been lights out this season. So go ahead and give me the under 7.5 in this one. It's not a good enough spot for me to put in the pinned comment, though. Moving right along here, guys, we got the Atlanta Braves going on the road to take on the Chicago Cubs. Atlanta just split that doubleheader there with the San Diego Padres. Things didn't really work out the way they were hoping they would in that series. They're up to 27-17 on the year, though, and handing the ball in this game to Charlie Morton, who's 3-1 with a 3.52 ERA, but his last start did not go well against the Chicago Cubs, guys. He gave up 4 runs, 3 of them were earned over 5 hits over only 3 innings of work. Just kind of getting shelled out there. A big departure from how he's looked in general lately. I mean, he'd been very good coming up to that game, so definitely a bounce back spot for him here against a Cubs team that shelled him the last time he faced them. The Braves in general, their offense hasn't been looking great. I mean, they scored 3, 5, 1, and 1 runs in their series against San Diego, so Not amazing stuff. This has been a pretty good offensive team, but they've fallen off here. Maybe not quite, not halfway into the season, not even close, but they've fallen off a bit lately and not looking great. I mean, they're down to 19th in runs scored. That's not where this team was looking to be. They were looking to be a top 5 offense, and that's just not what it's feeling like things are going to be. They're taking on the Cubs in this one, who are 26-22 on the season, coming off of losing 3 out of 4 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Not great there. The Cubs are only 26-22 on the season now, handing the ball to Javier Assad, who's 4-0 with a 1.49 ERA. Assad has been great this season and great lately. I mean, his last start was against the Atlanta Braves. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, no runs while striking out 7 and only walking 1. Yeah, that's a dominant outing, and he's been very, very good over his last, 5 starts at least. Like, the guy's just been really, really good. Don't get me wrong, he has been fantastic out there. The Cubs' offense, on the other hand, has not. They've scored 2, 1, 3, 4. Like, that's not going to work, especially against a Pirates team that's not even very good offensively and not been that great on the mound. Like, they should be scoring more runs than that, and they're just not doing it. They're 12th in runs scored this season, 19th in slugging percentage, 23rd in team batting average. Like, just not amazing stuff out there. Not very excited about that. Looking at the numbers for this game, there must be something weird going on with the wind, guys, because we see an over-under in this game of 10.5. So crazy high number there, and we've got 2 very good pitchers out there on the mound. So I definitely tend to look at the under a little bit with such a big number. Instincts tell me to go under in this one, but we also definitely like the Chicago Cubs plus 114 at home. I mean, Assad had so much success against this team the last time he faced them, and it was very, very recent, only like 6 days ago. We saw Morton have no success against this team 6 days ago, so go ahead and give me the Chicago Cubs in this one. They're 14-9 at home, which is not terrible. Atlanta's only 11-9 on the road, which isn't great, so definitely go ahead and give me the Cubs plus 114. And if you wanted to take a look at that under 10.5, despite the wind blowing, I think that could be worth it as well. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Detroit Tigers going on the road to take on the Kansas City Royals. The Tigers let us down pretty hard there in Game 1 of the series, losing 8-3. We just did not see the kind of pitching we were expecting from Detroit. They're down to 23-24 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Casey Mize, who's 1-2 with a 3.50 ERA. He's had 2 very good starts back-to-back here, but they were both games that his team ended up losing. He gave only a single earned run over 6 innings to the Houston Astros. That's very, very good. Only 2 earned runs over 6 innings to the Marlins. Just in general, this guy has been throwing the ball pretty well. I mean, kind of all season long, just not getting a ton of run support from the Tigers offense, which continues to be very, very mediocre. I mean, they're 21st in runs scored for a reason, 19th in team batting average, 23rd in on base percentage. Like, just not a good offensive team, and they're taking on a Kansas City Royals team who's just been killing it lately. They've now won 4 in a row. They're up to 30-19 on the season, and handing the ball in this game to Alec Marsh probably doesn't feel bad at all because the dude is 3-1 on the year with a 2.43 ERA and comes into this one fresh off of a very good performance against the Seattle Mariners. He gave only a single earned run over 5 innings. Start before that was very good against the Angels. Start before that was great against Toronto, and then before that was great against Baltimore. Like, this guy has been throwing the ball really, really well. He doesn't go crazy deep into games. I mean, the deepest he's gone in his last 5 is 5 2/3, but in general, very, very plus guy out there on the mound. And the Royals offense has been finding a way to get the job done, guys. They've scored 8, 5, and 6 runs over their last 4. That will definitely work. We see Salvador Perez absolutely killing it. He just hit a crazy long home run yesterday. Just looking like a monster out there. This team is 8th in runs scored, 14th in batting average, 11th in team slugging percentage. Like, this is just turning out to be a very, very plus team. And yeah, looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Royals at minus 106, the Tigers at minus 105. We see that Kansas City is 19-8 and at home, and they're at an extremely cheap, extremely reasonable price. Guys, go ahead and give me the Royals minus 106 in this one. I think this is a fantastic spot for Kansas City once again. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Orioles took the 6-3 loss in Game 1 of this series. We saw Siani hit his first home run ever and drove in 4 as the Cardinals won that game 6-3. So Sonny Gray looks pretty good in that one. He did make at least 1 or 2 mistakes in the game, but he pitched well enough to get the win, and it was a very enjoyable game to watch. We were there. We watched the home team get a win, so that felt nice. We were looking at the Orioles handing the ball to Kyle Brandish in this game. He's going to be making his 3rd start of the year. He has yet yet to figure in a result, but his last time out he looked decent against the Blue Jays. We've also seen the Orioles go 3-0 in games that he's started, so that's kind of interesting. He's not going super deep into games, don't get me wrong, but when the guys had a solid outing against the Yankees, giving up only a single earned run over 4 2/3, you definitely have to take notice. He has walked at least 2 hitters in each one of his games, but he's also given up 0 home runs through 13 2/3 innings, so that'll definitely work. And the Orioles are definitely due for something of a bounce back hitting day. I mean, they did only score 3 runs in game 1 of the series, but against the solid pitching of the Seattle Mariners, they scored 6, 3, 9, and 3 runs. So, I mean, in general, this is a very, very good offensive team, putting up some great numbers. Gunnar Henderson is an absolute monster. This team is 8th in the majors in runs scored, so this is a very good offense, and the Cardinals are going to be hoping to slow them down again. St. Louis has been a resurgent team for sure, guys. They're up to 21-26 on the season, so still work to be done, obviously, but they did get the 6-3 win in game 1 of the series with their ace out there on the mound, so that has to feel pretty good. They're handing the ball in this one to Lance Lynn, who comes into this game 1-2 with a 4.17 ERA. His last time out against the Angels did not look good, and we've actually seen the Cardinals go 0-4 over his last 4 starts, which can't feel amazing, but his start against the Angels was, that was all on him, guys. He gave up 4 earned runs on 8 hits over 5 innings. That's just not going to get the job done. And we're seeing Lynn, after getting off to kind of a good start here, not have a very good time at all lately. And what the Cardinals' bats have really been kind of what's carrying them over the last few games, guys. I mean, over their last 4, they've scored 6, 3, 7, and 10 runs. Like, that will definitely get the job done. We're seeing some shakeups in the lineup definitely pay off. They are still only 28th in the majors in runs scored, though, and 24th in slugging percentage. So this is definitely a team that has a ways to go, but it seems like they're finding their way relatively well right now. Looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Orioles at -145, the Cardinals at +128, and we've got an over-under in this game of 8.5. Guys, I like the Orioles -145 in this spot for sure. Baltimore's 12-6 on the road, very solid. The Cardinals are only 9-12 at home, and while they are playing better right now, I just don't have a ton of faith in Lance Lynn out there on the mound, so definitely give me the Orioles on the road in this one. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Los Angeles Angels going on the road to take on the Houston Astros. We've seen the Angels now win 2 in a row. They won game 1 of this series 9-7. Absolutely wild game there. The Angels are handing the ball in this one to Griffin Canning, who's 2-4 with a 5.21 ERA. His last couple of starts, his last 3 starts actually, have all been very, very solid, though. I mean, against Cleveland, giving up only 2 earned runs over 6 innings. That's good. Against the Royals, not giving up a single run over 5 2/3. And then against the Cardinals, only a single run in 6 innings of work. Definitely 3 in a row, very solid starts for Canning, and the Angels' offense is looking a bit better here over their last 5. They scored 9, 4, 2, 9, and 7 runs over those games. Like, that will definitely work. Mike Trout going out was supposed to be the death knell for this offense, and while they haven't looked amazing, they also haven't looked terrible, I mean, they're still 15th in the majors in runs scored, their league average and batting average. They're 10th in the majors in slugging percentage, so this is a team that can definitely hit the ball a little bit. They're going to need to score some runs here against the Houston Astros, who, they've been coming on relatively strong here. They have lost 2 of their last 3, but they're up to 21-27 on the season, and handing the ball in this game to Christian Javier, who's 3-1 on the year with a 3.23 ERA. His last time out, he shut out the Oakland A's over 6 innings, giving up only 2 hits, which was a big bounce back from getting shelled by the Detroit Tigers of all teams. So this guy definitely has some consistency to work on, but striking out 8 and walking 1 against the Oakland A's is no joke, so we'll definitely give him some flowers for that one. And the Astros bats have been pretty solid lately. I mean, they scored 7, 9, 2, 5, 8 runs over their last 5 games. Like, that'll definitely work. This is a solid offensive team. They're 11th in the majors in runs scored, 5th in the majors in on-base percentage, and they're the absolute best batting average team in the majors, guys, hitting .265 as a squad. So we can definitely look to this as a team that can put up some runs. Look at the numbers for this game. We see the Angels at +180. We see the Astros at -136, and we've got an over-under in this game of 8.5. The Angels are showing some trends to the over. The Astros are still showing trends to the under, so that's a little bit tough to figure out. In general, I don't love this game, guys. If you're forcing me to bet it, I think I'll go ahead and take the Astros -136 or -196 to kind of figure some things out and put a win on the board. But I'm not going to be betting this game myself. Next on the docket, guys, we got the Colorado Rockies going on the road to take on the Oakland A's. We saw Colorado just get swept by the Giants, so that probably doesn't feel great. They're only 15-31 on the season. Handing the ball in this one to Cal Quantrill, who's 3-3 on the year with a 3.66 ERA, and coming off of 3 straight very, very good starts. I mean, a good start against the Pirates, a great start against the San Francisco Giants, and an elite start against the Padres. But in general, guys, it's tough to find a lot of positives for the Colorado Rockies offense right now. I mean, they scored 1, 4, and 5 5 runs, all in losses to the San Francisco Giants, so that's not great. This team was swinging some hot bats there for that 7-game winning streak they had, but it seems like that's cooled off. This team is only 19th in the majors in on-base percentage and 23rd in runs scored, so not exactly a plus offensive unit, but they're going up against the Oakland A's in this one, a team that everybody has a chance against. Obviously, the A's are only 19-30 on the season. They come into this one riding an 8-game losing streak, which can't feel amazing. Hitting the ball in this one to Aaron Brooks, who's 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA. He's making only his second start of the year. His first start was definitely serviceable against the Houston Astros. He went 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs on 7 hits. So not terrible, not amazing. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk in that outing. So he's only 1 start into his season, so kind of tough to know what to expect from him overall, but I think we can pretty much know what to expect here from the A's offense, guys. Not an amazing offense. Not terrible, not quite as bad as I actually thought they would be in the beginning of the season, but there's a reason they're 24th in the majors in runs scored and 28th in batting average. Not a great hitting team. Look at the numbers for this game. We see the Rockies plus 115, the A's minus 132 at home, and we've got an over-under of 7.5. Guys, once again, this is not a game I'm super interested in. If you're forcing me to bet it, go ahead and give me the Rockies plus 115 with Cal Quantrill on the mound. He's a very solid starter, but so is Aaron Brooks, so yeah, not a huge lean in this game whatsoever. Last but not least on this slate, guys, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on the LA Dodgers. The Diamondbacks come into this game fresh off of a 6-4 loss in Game 1 of this series. They're 22-26 on the year, handing the ball in this one to Brandon Pfaadt, who's 1-3 with a 4.17 ERA. He's coming off a very solid start against the Cincinnati Reds, so I mean it was against the Cincinnati Reds, so we're not exactly going to throw the guy a parade, but still 7 innings, 1 earned run on 2 hits is nothing to turn your nose up at. He struck out 9 in that game and walked only 2. Huge bounce back from having a not good time against the Baltimore Orioles, but like I said, guys, it was against the Cincinnati Reds, and you're going to need to pitch relatively well here for the Diamondbacks to get wins. I mean, this team is 6th in the majors in runs scored, but not exactly hitting the cover off the ball lately. I mean, they had a pretty lackluster showing against Detroit, and scoring 4 runs against the Dodgers, I guess, isn't terrible, but we're not going to freak out about that too much, especially when we see the Dodgers win that game 6-4. So, yeah, looking at the Diamondbacks' chances here against this Dodgers team, things don't look amazing. I mean, the Dodgers have won their last 4 in a row. They're up to 33-17 on the season, handing the ball in this one to Gavin Stone, who's 4-1 with a 3.27 ERA, and his last time out, he looked very good against the Giants. He's actually given up exactly 1 earned run over each of his last 4 starts, so very, very solid looking there. I mean, he's just looked great this season, eating up innings, doing exactly what you'd want to do. I mean, he's pitched 6, 7, 6, and 7 innings over his last 4 starts. The guy's looking great, but not nearly as great as the Dodgers offense. They have gotten bumped down to 2nd in the majors in terms of runs scored and batting average, but they're still in 2nd place in both of those categories. They're 1st in the majors in on-base percentage. This team can absolutely crush the ball. We see Ohtani batting .353 with 13 home runs. This is an elite offensive team, and it's no surprise to see the Dodgers as sizable favorites in this one. We've got the Dodgers at minus 168, the Diamondbacks at plus 150, which is a little bit surprising to me, and we've got an over-under of 9 or 8.5 in this game, whichever you're looking at. We see the Diamondbacks are only 10-12 on the road, and the Dodgers are 18-8 at home. Guys, I don't think we have to go take this one against the run line. I think we can just take the Dodgers straight up at minus 168. A great spot for the Dodgers, almost never doing the wrong thing when you're betting on the Dodgers, especially at home, so give me LAD minus 168. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.